Hi, this is Dr. Stephen with Outclick Magazine. Today we are bringing to you Glen Weinzimer, the founder of the SMARTRide and also the owner of Bona Italian Restaurant here in Wilton Manors, and Timothy Hart, who's one of the managing partners of R3 Accounting. Gentlemen, welcome to today's program.
Great to be here. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you. Hi, Timothy. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having us.
Good, good. Glenn, normally the SMARTRide is a ride from Miami to Key West with bikers, bicyclists. Obviously, this year, because of COVID, the 2020 SMARTRide, you had to do all the heavy lifting to try to reimagine it. Tell us about this year's event and what you had to do.
So, like you said, traditionally we leave Miami on a Friday and end up in Key West on Saturday afternoon, and Thursday's the big day of everyone getting together for the first time. And this year, because of COVID, we weren't able to do the traditional ride. So we reimagined it and we gave people an option to do their version of 165. So we had two people that did 165 minutes of cleanup on Fort Lauderdale Beach. We had people that walked 16.5 miles in New York. And then we had a group of people that actually rode the 165 miles either in their own backyard or some of them that actually still went on to Key West. We had two riders from California that flew in, planned to do their ride like they do every year, and they just did it on their own without the support that we normally offer on the event. And overall, like shockingly, people were engaged and they raised a lot of money, and the agencies will all benefit from it. So we're really excited. Next Sunday, we actually give out the checks to each one of the agencies.
Oh, amazing. So normally it's 165 miles to ride on a bike, which is, I think, phenomenal. The people that go all tell about what a great experience they have, such a great outreach to the community. And you flipped it this year and gave people so many opportunities to retool it to their own needs in some ways that they could do on their own. I think that's amazing, Glenn.
Thank you.
So what were the outcomes of this year? Tell us what were the outcomes, if you'd like, of this year's event.
So the most amazing part is the amount of generosity people still showed, knowing that there was a great need for help within the agencies that we benefit, and we benefit 6 organizations across the state of Florida. In Key West, it's AH of Monroe. In Miami, it's Pride Lines. In Fort Lauderdale, it's Broward House. Up in Palm Beach, it's Compass. You get up towards Orlando, it's Miracle of Love, and then you go across to the West Coast, it's Tampa, St. Pete. And that's Metro Wellness and Community Centers, or Metro Inclusive was their new name. So that's who ultimately will benefit from it. And, last year was an anomaly for us. We had raised, traditionally we raised, the last couple of years, we've been raising just around $1 million. And last year we raised $1.4 million. It was almost like a premonition of what was going to happen because there was so much more money raised. And this year, obviously we weren't going to be able to accomplish the same kinds of numbers, but we'll end the year with just about $700,000 that'll be given away, which during a pandemic, and considering how many people were not working or were fearful, people just came out and gave, and those who gave more than they normally do because they knew there's a real need and a lack of people to support. So I think with us going over last year to such a high number from our normal, and then doing half of that this year, it'll balance out to two decent years on average.
That's phenomenal during a pandemic year and closings of everything. I think that's just absolutely phenomenal, and the organizations that need it. What do you think is the most creative, maybe that someone did to flip it this year? What do you think is the most creative, or one of the most creatives?
Tim Hart.
Tim Hart. That sets up the stage well. Tim, you are a managing partner with R3 Accounting. That sets up our question. Tim, what did you do this year to be part of the SMARTRide? You're always part. So we're going to show it. Tim is, here we go. We have an article in this month's Outclick Magazine, January 2021, on your experience with the SMARTRide, Tim. But I will let you tell the story rather than try to hold it up to the screen. I'll let you tell the story about your experience with this year's SMARTRide and how it's been reimagined.
All right. Well, the SMARTRide is, for me, it is a year-long thing because I have to train for quite a while in order to be able to ride 165 miles in 2 days. Just to ride the 100 miles in day one is really hard. So my team, first off, committed to raising funds, and we started raising early, which was great. And we pointed out how much the donations would mean to the benefiting agencies. So that was our biggest thing, was to not let down raising funds. We actually rode our bike 165. We rode 60 miles day one. We rode 60 miles day two, and we rode 45 miles day three. And to do that, we started at like around Commercial and A1A. We rode down to Downtown Bikes, where Broward House was there. It was like being at the SMARTRide. They had stuff for us to eat. And they were encouraging us to ride. And we had a small group. Some of the guys in my team had physical issues, so they were unable to participate on their bike. But those on my team that rode got some goodies. And then we rode up. Day one, we rode up to, I actually rode up to Atlantic, and then turned around and caught another one of my teammates at Spanish River. So I rode back to Atlantic. So that's how I got my 60 in day one. Day two, I rode up to Briney. And day three, I rode up to Palmetto Park. Day three obviously was the best day of all, because I was really tired. So I do appreciate Glenn adding the extra day. That was the big deal.
You're not getting it next year.
Right. Adding the extra day was great. I still had the same sense of belonging that I normally have. I worked out all summer long with people and rode my bike training up and down the beach. And when I wasn't, I have a path out by my house. I do. When we hooked up with the people down at Downtown Bikes, they were from different teams, and we all knew each other. And people that were big shots in the SMARTRide were riding Larry, whatnot. So it was fun. I had a great time. My team had meals afterwards, which was great. That was one of the pictures in Outclick, was my team having a meal. We had a massage therapist that helped us because most of us are old. And we did a lot of the stuff that the SMARTRide would have. We had a meal after each day. It was fun. So I wish we could have raised more money, but my team is kind of small. So that was about what you were going to get from us.
Good for you. Everyone just came up with so many creative ideas. And so I think this is such an example of the South Florida spirit, that nothing is going to get in our way of accomplishing what we want to accomplish, whether it's Island City Stage or the Broward Center or the SMARTRide or R3 Accounting, whatever it is. We've got something creative, a way to accomplish whatever task it is. Tim, here is your page on the SMARTRide page. Glenn, if people want to get involved for either to finish up this year, or if they want to get involved with next year, what do they need to do, Glenn?
So for this year, we're pretty much closed out as far as donations and stuff are concerned. The only big thing that we have left this year is to give out the checks this coming Sunday, which we're going to do virtually like we did the ride. The execs are going to meet down here in Miami, and then we'll go live with it on both Facebook and on our website as we give out the checks and stuff. For next year, it's SMARTRide 18. And for those that know anything about the Jewish religion, 18 stands for life. It's high. And you'll see a lot of times people will make a donation that's double high, which would be $36, or 10 times high, which would be $180. And coming off of this year and the pandemic and stuff, and keeping HIV and AIDS in mind, it is all about life. So this year we're going to take that SR 18 and make it SMARTRide to life, and kind of feed a little bit off of that historical data, or that that religious portion of it. And I'm not religious, but it's a symbolism thing. And I think with coming off of SMARTRide 17, coming off the pandemic, coming off of 2020, riding to life would be appropriate for this coming year. People can just go to our website, smartride.org, and they can register. We're planning on our traditional ride, 2 days, 165 miles, leaving from the University of Miami, heading south, 100 miles on day one, The ride will be completely supported as it has been in the past with massage therapists and medical team and sweep vehicles and SAG vehicles and bike techs and feeding everyone. And we've already got our hotel booked at Hawks Bay again for next year. So we've got everything in the works. And based on how they predict the vaccines and stuff to go, originally the date for people to start getting or to be finished being vaccinated, they were saying early spring. Now they were saying midsummer. So even in the worst case scenario, if it's early fall, we'll be safely into a place where it should be good to be able to bring everyone together. And I think after what will be 2 years of really not seeing us all as a group, and it is a family, and I know Tim can attest to like the people he saw at Downtown Bicycles, reuniting and actually being able to hug your friends and stuff. I think it will be a big year for us. I also feel strongly that because a lot of the other rides around the country will still be canceled for this year because they're planned for the spring and summer. The largest age ride in the country is Age Life Cycle in California. They've already announced months ago that they're not doing it this coming June. So we have folks that come out from California on a normal year. I would think now that they will be 2 years, it'll be 3 years before they're actually together in California. There may be an opportunity for these same folks that really care about the cause and want to raise awareness to travel. 2 years ago, we had 39 states represented on the event. And I really believe that this year we'll probably have more than that and more people from the individual states that participate, show up. So I'm excited about that. You asked earlier, if you don't mind, I just want to back what we did this year to sort of bring people together. And one of the most significant things we did, which came from one of our volunteers, was we took the AIDS flag and we had to leave our agency in Tampa with their executive director and travel to Orlando. And they then relayed the flag off to that executive director, and it made its way all the way down through Palm Beach into Fort Lauderdale, stopped at each one of our agencies, made that exchange, and ended up in Key West on Sunday of this year's event. And then they got ridden in with the 5 of the 6 execs riding the bike into Key West itself and going through the normal ceremony of a ride of the cycle, representing all the people that are normally not there because they've passed from HIV and AIDS. And then this year, symbolically representing the entire state coming together with all the agencies coming from as far away as Tampa and Orlando, and then down, all of them meeting in Key West. So although we as an organization couldn't necessarily bring all of the riders together, we at least symbolically brought the state together. And that to me was a big deal, and I think it was emotional. And I got a lot of emails from folks as they saw the bikes, being transferred, what it meant to them and how much they missed the event and seeing the people that they care about and making a difference.
You actually stole my question, Glenn. My question was going to be, what did you learn most from this year's experience apart from the other years? And I think you kind of answered that already about bringing the people together.
Yeah, and I won't elaborate anymore because I'm going.
That's great. Tim, if you give us a short minute about what's the ride like when you actually get to do it in person. Tell us what that's about, because everyone says it's such a phenomenal experience. Give us a short snippet about what it's actually like to ride on the SMARTRide during non-COVID conditions.
Tim, I'm sending you a note with the answer.
It is. He knows. I mean, you have to imagine that it's, what is it, like 800 people? 700, 800 people. So everybody feels like Glenn's their best friend. And he's got 800 people that he's got to be, best friends to. Luckily, I have a great relationship with him. So I'm extremely fortunate there. But for me, I just don't even know how to explain it. We look forward to it. I do it. People on my team are my friends. Jeff, so Glenn knows the people on my team. We train all summer for it. So we really look forward to it. I mean, it is extremely fulfilling. And I get to start out near the front now because I'm a good fundraiser. So that makes it good, because can you imagine what it's like for 500 bicycles to be leaving all at one time from UM? That's a massive undertaking. So no, I never really reflect on how big a massive undertaking it is. I just take it in and participate, and I'm one of the lucky people that get to participate in it. And it is so, everybody is so encouraging for you. people come that aren't part of the Smart Ride. They come down to babies and they congratulate you for, God, I've never been congratulated so much for doing something. It's just an amazing experience. Luckily, I haven't had any physical or mechanical problems. That makes it good, right? I'm probably one of the happier riders. I'm probably one of the more enthusiastic people. We have a good time too. I think my team is good.
Good. Everyone that comes back says what a life-changing experience it is for the riders. And I always tell Glenn, it's the whole package. It's the people who are volunteers that it changes their lives. It's the riders that changes their lives, and then the organizations that benefit from it. Plus, then those people that benefit from the organizations. The ripple effect of this is just so phenomenal, Glenn, for so many people and for our community.
I want to say something else. Physically, bike riding is a very good exercise. I would say, and Glenn can attest, he knew me before I smart rode. It's certainly right. It certainly has a way of keeping you fit. So there is a physical benefit to the whole thing as well.
Yeah.
Something to point out if somebody out there is listening and wants to get involved.
Yeah.
Any team will take you. I mean, my team, there's actually no pressure or expectation whatsoever, other than you have to really be an enthusiastic fundraiser, which I think is part of it.
Part of it.
But we have people that aren't speedy riders, that's for sure.
That's all right. Glenn, what were you going to say?
I think that sometimes people forget that the event itself, and Tim keeps hitting on it, but hasn't actually said it. The event starts months and months before we actually get there, before you actually physically get on the 2-day event. You're training every weekend. You're leaving basically your spouse behind at 6 a.m. on weekends and disappearing for 4 hours to be with a whole different group. And you experience over the course of those months, flat tires, teammanship, working in sync, having those moments together, doing breakfast, having lunch, just like telling your stories and experiences that other people wouldn't necessarily understand if they weren't doing what you're doing. And when you actually get to the ride, in many ways, it's the culmination of those 6 months of being together. The celebration isn't the 2 days and 165 miles and it alone in what you've accomplished. Yes, that's, physically, that's an amazing feat. Being able to do that and the stamina and everything else is amazing, but it's also the culmination of months of you and your friends coming together and doing something collectively for the better good. And when you celebrate at the pier, it's not all about just those 2 days. It's about that whole 6 months or however long you have been together, doing this experience together and celebrating that communal accomplishment that also raises those endorphins and gets everyone so elated, because it isn't just 2 days. It's much bigger than that. And you look at we're 800 people, and I had for a long time was like, well, what difference are we making? It's only 800 people that are influenced. But then when you look at the number of people last year that donated, it was over 10,000 people. So 10,000 people acted to make a difference, acted to write a check or do a credit card or show up at a fundraiser and give $10 into the pot, or $100 in Tim's case, into the pot and help other people. And so, that you tell two friends and they tell two friends, that's kind of when you start to look at how it multiplies out by everyone asking, their 20 friends to help. It adds up, and before you know it, you've got an entire country making donations and making a difference in other people's lives. And you're giving people a way to do good that they might not otherwise know how to do. And so, yes, it's a great 2 days, but it's a lot more than that, and hopefully there's conversation that comes out of it about HIV and AIDS that is not normally discussed in our communities, just because people have become a little bit complacent about the fact that it's been over 30 years and people seem to be fine, people seem to be living longer. But this at least brings it to the forefront that it's still there. And it's something we need to pay attention to.
Mm. This is such a great, like you said, social change agent, both in terms of affecting the people, providing the resources, and keeping the discussion going about the HIV/AIDS crisis that we still have. Glenn, thank you so much for putting this together. And Tim, thank you for being part of the event. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about as we wrap things up?
I do want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I am often identified more with the SMARTRide than I am with anything else I'm involved in. And I'm involved in some other stuff. And I must say that I am proud to be associated with the SMARTRide. And I'm proud of the work that the SMARTRide does. And I look forward to next year. I've already registered. I don't know what number I am, but, you know, we're looking forward to it.
Well, we're going to put up the website again. So if you ready to get involved, it's thesmartride.org. To get involved, if you want to get in touch with Tim, it's r3accounting.com. Arthur's also, we've got the website here, the registration. It's never too early to get registered and start planning. As Glenn said, this is months of planning ahead of time. It's not just the event. There are SMARTRide events and all kinds of fundraising that go on throughout the year. So don't wait until then to get involved. Go ahead and start planning and start fundraising, getting involved. It's a great way to give back to the community and to so many great organizations. Arthur's also got some of the other social media. He's helping me in the background. There's the Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter account, social media. And then we've also got R3 Accountings on there, facebook.com/R3Accounting. And if you'd like to stay updated on us, you can text OCQ to 22828. Glenn and Tim, thank you again so much for being with us today and for sharing more about the SMARTRide.
Thank you. Appreciate both of you.
Thank you so much. We will talk to you soon, and we look forward to the 2021 SMARTRide. Glenn, before we go, tell us what the dates projected are going to be for.
They're more than projected. They're actual. November
Okay.
19th and 20th with orientation day on November 18th, which is a Thursday. We'll ride Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Tell us again, the audio cut out. What is it again?
November 19th and 20th, 2021.
2021. All right. The smartride.org. Thank you all and have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.